Well, g'day, it's Peter from Professional Boat Care. We're just about to embark on a 10-day passage on a brand new Riviera, which is this one here, the 585 model. Yeah, so anyway, I'm in the middle of a wash down here before we get going. Boat's covered in dust. I think we had a big westerly wind here the last few days, so yeah, she's pretty dirty. Yeah, so the owners are Sydney-based and experienced Riviera owners, having owned a few in the past, and they've been working closely with the factory on taking delivery, doing the sea trials, etc. So once they returned from doing a provision shop, we left the factory and made our way down to the Broadwater. So that's the Plan B, I think she's called, and my cousin skippers that occasionally. She was berthed at the Gold Coast City Marina right next door to Riviera. Yeah, so we just went down and anchored near Kurrajee on the Broadwater for the first night. Passing traffic's a bit of a nightmare. So this trip was more about exploring the southern Great Barrier Reef, mainly Lady Musgrave. But I got the fishing gear out and just got it all set up and ready. And then we just settled in for a lovely evening.
There is a strong wind warning for small craft in coastal waters from Cape Morton to Woolai, issued by the Bureau of Meteorology. Expect south to southwesterly winds up to 30 knots in the morning, with a combined sea and swell up to 3.5 metres.
Yeah, so that forecast sounds fairly daunting, but we were heading with it, and it had a bit of west in it, or enough west anyway, that we could hug the coastline, and the sea state wasn't going to be too bad. And looking at the long range forecast, you know, we were most excited about the couple of super days that were shaping up for when we were out at the reef, so we had to get going when we did. Wow. Dipped his boom. So with the owner on the helm, we put the throttles down and got going. They're amazing, these things. 58 feet and the most economical cruise speeds, something like 27 knots. So as mentioned, it wasn't a fishing trip, but there was a couple of spots I suggested we have a quick troll as we go past along the way. But the plan today was to get up to the inside of Fraser Island for the first night, crossing the Wide Bay Bar and then getting over those Sheridan Flats. So this is our first little quick troll.
I like here today. We've got a couple more spots we can try.
So that's an area called the Sevens, east of Flat Rock off Point Lookout. It's the sandhills of Moreton Island. And of course, being winter, we had the whale migration. They were all heading north at this stage. Had to keep a keen eye out. That's Cape Morton there. And this is the other spot I wanted to try. It's known as Hutchinson's Shoals, just north of Cape Morton. Caught a lot of good fish there over the years. That's the Glasshouse Mountains back in there on the Sunshine Coast.
Oh, it's a mackerel.
And that was a foul-hooked mackerel that fell off before we could drag it into the boat. So there's Sunshine Beach, and that's looking in at Noosa, main beach. And this is Double Island Point. And this is the bar, the Wide Bay Bar, which we had timed around the last of the incoming tide. And look, best practice is to put a life jacket on when you cross bars. And then once into the sandy straits, you can see that beautiful winter weather where the morning westerly starts to back off and it glasses off. So as is often the way, we're a little bit early to cross the Sheridan Flats. It's a very shallow bit of water up there. And with IPS drives, and it being someone else's boat, I'm just not prepared to take the risk. So we waited there for a couple of hours. We weren't in a hurry. We were just going a few miles past here for the evening anyway. So that little mangrove tree I use as a depth gauge, and that indicated we had plenty of water now to get over the Sheridan Flats. As I said, the plan was just to spend the night a little further north from here, and then tomorrow morning we were going into Urangan, where the owner's children were going to fly in and join us. Yeah, so one daughter who lives in Sydney was flying in with one of her children, and the other daughter who had been living in London had only flown in 24 hours earlier with her partner and their young boy, so it's going to be a great family trip. So my usual engine room checks, basically I just do the oil, the coolant levels, and then you just scout around looking at the fuel filters, any oil leaks, any excess belt dust, that sort of thing. You can see the IPS drives there. They're a great engine room. Yeah, so a nice lazy morning. Owner and I spent some time poring over charts and looking at options for the next few days. And we made our way into Urangan Harbour. So that's Big Woody Island there.
Good, Peter. Good to see you again.
Yeah, it's Barry at the Urangan Fuel Wharf. He's the man. Brand new Reef, 585.
Beautiful.
Nice. That's very nice. You're going to go and pick up the owner's wife from the supermarket.
No problem at all.
Yeah, so we're just into Urangan Boat Harbour, getting some fuel, and then we're picking up the owner's grown-up daughters and some of their children, and we're going out to Lady Musgrave for a couple of nights. Yeah, it's 79. Yeah, so the plan was just to spend the afternoon in the harbour, let the girls and the kids all settle in for the evening, and then we were going to get going early in the morning. How good's this IPS drive though? Seeing we were here for the afternoon, I set about giving the boat a good wash down. And it's most important to get the salt off the hull, particularly if you've got fenders there and it's rubbing, it'll actually chafe, leave a dull patch there. So just lots of fresh water. But of course you must chamois, otherwise you'll get water spot build up. That's the calcium and minerals in the water will build up and leave spots all over your glass and gel coat. Good morning. It's absolutely sensational weather, as you can see, but we've still got 15 to 20 south to southwest today on the way out, but then the next couple of days out on the reef is just going to be beautiful, according to the Bureau anyway. So yeah, let's see how we go. Yeah, so if you watch any of my previous videos, you'll know when I do this little leg through from Urangan to Musgrave, there's a spot I like to troll. This is it here on the sounder, showing some good fish. And we were rewarded pretty quickly.
That's a scaly mackerel.
Yes, no good to eat, but great giant marlin bait. Pity I couldn't have taken it north with me for later in the year.
You're going to show the girls?
And then another one shortly after. So this is Lady Musgrave Island. It's the most southernmost end of the Great Barrier Reef. Well, that's not true. There's one island further south, Lady Elliot.
Yeah.
But Lady Elliot doesn't have this lovely lagoon, so we enter the lagoon here through this very narrow channel. And of course, being totally surrounded by coral makes it a really good anchorage. You want me to tie it off over here? Alright, dropped the first lot in, now getting the rest of them. It's a small tender, so we're doing a couple of trips into the beach. But they're all very excited to be here. And, we might have a drink, sunset drinks on the beach there later. And don't you love having big water makers? Being able to wash the boat is a great thing, just have it look and feel good. Yeah, beautiful first afternoon at Lady Musgrave Island. It's never lost on me how lucky I am to experience all this. And dawn on the reef is always one of my favourite things. So there's a turtle. These islands here are nesting grounds later in the year, and around January they hatch, all the little turtles. Anyway, beautiful day, and everyone was keen to start using the water toys and go ashore and swim, etc. One of the little girls a lesson on fishing. Just drop the guys on the beach. They're everywhere. Beautiful little ashtrays or soap dishes. But we got to leave them here. We don't want people taking them, or it's against the law, so yeah. Gotta leave everything alone. Leave only your footprints. That'd be croc footprints too. Walking on that coral's hardcore bare feet. Well, that was just a great day out at Lady Musgrave, and look at this sunset. Wow, look at this weather. Exactly what they forecast, and you know you've got a good forecast when you see all these little trailer boats who've mostly come out from 1770, which is a little town on the mainland, about 35 nautical miles due west from here. So with a day like this, I said, if you want to have a reef fish with all the family on board, today's the day. If you've spent any time driving around coral bommies, you'll know that these glassy mornings are actually really tricky. You actually can't see into the water unless you're right above it like this. So very hard to pick up the bommies, as you can see there. It's shallow water right behind those beacons, you wouldn't know it. need a few more ripples on the surface to actually see the bommies. Anyway, with these perfect conditions, we had a bit of a reef fish. The girls had a great time.
Back here gently.
He's so big.
It's a beauty.
Just getting spooled here.
Stop it, there's no break.
Normally if it's a shark, it would have bitten through the mono.
Oh my god.
It's funny. Hidden a bit. Did you have a little fish initially and then it got extra heavy? Is that what it felt like?
I'm not sure.
Some great photo opportunities. And a low tide, a lot of coral exposed as we came into the entrance to the lagoon again. Almost like snorkeling without getting in the water when it's this glassy.
Whoa, big G. That's a GT.
And with all the little ones on board, needing to stretch their legs, we came back into the lagoon for a lovely afternoon of swimming and exploring the island again. So everyone's up a bit early today because we're going to run right through the 240 nautical miles to Brisbane. Alright, I'm on bommy duty. We're just edging our way out of here, following our track from the last few days. We know where there's a couple of bommies either side of us. As long as we stick to the track, we're good. So yeah, we've got a light nor'wester. Perfect conditions to run down the outside of Fraser Island and avoid the Sheridan Flats and crossing the bar, etc. I was really looking forward to this run. Just like a rocket ship, 27 knots down the outside.
Yeah, once we come around the lagoon, we can start to get our new line south.
Yeah, so this is the island just south of Musgrave I mentioned, Lady Elliot. It also has amazing snorkeling there, but there's no lagoon to anchor in. That's the only downside to that place. But you can fly in there. And that's the airstrip there. The accommodation. But the amount of whales really kept us entertained. This has got to be some of the best fishing on the east coast around there. That's the Breaksea Light you just saw. And then from there right down to Fraser Island, which you could just see a glimpse of. That's about 30 miles of shallow broken water all the way down. That's Sandy Cape on top end of Fraser. Look, I always say Fraser Island. I apologise, it's old habits. It's now called Gari, so we need to start introducing that new name. This is Waddy Point. You can see the township of Orchard Beach there, and that's Indian Head in the distance. But we pulled up here because we had quite a few whales in the shallows, and we just drifted through here and they swam right up around the boat. It was an amazing experience for everyone. Anyway, it was time to get going. We had a lot of miles to cover. So any of you who have four-wheel drived Fraser or Gari Island, that's the Mahino, the wreck of the Mahino in on the beach there, famous old ship. That's Wolf Rock, one to be wary of, just off Double Island Point. You can see all the sandhills there at Rainbow Beach. And again, come back past Double Island Point. So again, coming down past Sunshine Beach and Caloundra, where we entered the bay, you can see the Glasshouse Mountains again. And as we come up the main shipping channel past Tangalooma Resort there on Moreton Island, you see the CBD of Brisbane in the background. And then we made it safely back into Royal Queensland Yacht Squadron for the evening, which is where my business, Professional Boat Care, is based. Yeah, so an early start. We got the girls all off in taxis to the airport, and then we were taking the boat down to leave it at the Riviera factory and end the trip. But first we had to go down to the fuel dock, and it was funny because today was also the day of the Moreton Bay Classic, which is a wooden boat rally. And interestingly enough, the main trophy is named the Ron Jennings Memorial Trophy after my father, which is really cool, but unfortunately work trumped that and I couldn't be there to hand the trophy out this year. But it was fun seeing everyone. There's Panawanica, famous old Cairns game boat. She's wooden and was in the rally. In fact, I think she won it. And that boat there with the flags and two masts, that's Mid-Pacific, and my grandfather had that boat built in 1957. And in 1965, I went to Lady Musgrave on that at the age of 6 weeks old. If you're interested, have a look back on my list of videos. I filmed this day last year. It's a great day. Such a great collection of local boats. That guy waving there's Greg. You might have seen him. He's cruised for me on some of my delivery trips. Then we made our way down the inside of North Stradbroke Island. It's a narrow channel, lots of traffic. And for my overseas viewers, there's some kangaroos. So thanks for watching, and if you like this, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to click the subscribe button, that way you won't miss any future uploads. And thanks again, cheers.